Have you ever wished you could be untouchable? The kind of person who doesn't flinch when life throws its hardest punches. Someone who doesn't crumble under criticism. Someone who stays calm in the face of betrayal, rejection, or loss. Someone who never lets anyone else's words or actions shake their inner peace. If you felt that longing, you're not alone. Maybe you've caught yourself dreaming of the day when nothing gets to you anymore. No more silent pain behind a smile. No more nights replaying what someone said, feeling that familiar tightness in your chest. No more pretending you're okay when deep down you're exhausted from holding it all together. Be honest. Are you tired of trying to be the strong one? The one who always keeps it together, even when you're breaking inside? Do you wish, just for once, you could set down the heavy armor and rest? It's a natural wish. We all want to feel safe. We all want to stop hurting. But here's something most people never say out loud, because it's hard to hear. As long as you keep trying to avoid pain, it will keep controlling you. The more you try to dodge it, suppress it, outsmart it, the more power it has over you. Carl Jung, one of the most important psychologists of all time, understood this deeply. He taught us that true strength isn't about becoming untouchable by avoiding pain. It's about learning to face what's inside of us, to bring to light everything we've been running from. Because real freedom doesn't come from shielding yourself against the world. It comes from knowing yourself so fully that nothing outside can break you. Think about that for a moment. What if being unshakable isn't about building walls? What if it's about knowing, deep in your bones, that whatever comes, you can handle it? Right now, you might believe that your pain is caused by things out there, by what other people say or do, by the betrayals, the losses, the sharp words that hit you like knives. But Jung would ask, why do those things hurt so much in the first place? Why do certain situations cut so deep, while others seem to brush off without much impact? The answer is simple but powerful. It's not the event itself that hurts you most. It's what it awakens inside you. Every criticism, every rejection, every betrayal, it touches something deeper, a wound that was already there, a fear, a belief, a memory you may not even realize you're carrying. And until you face those hidden parts of yourself, you will always be vulnerable to being hurt. This doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're human. The difference between those who seem unshakable and those who break easily. It's not that the unshakable ones never feel pain. It's that they've done the inner work. They've met their shadows, their fears, their raw places, and learned to stand with them instead of running from them. In Jung's words, we are not what happens to us, but what we choose to become. That is where your real strength begins, not in hiding from pain, but in transforming through it. So let me ask you, are you ready to stop chasing the illusion of being untouchable? Are you ready to step onto a path where nothing, no word, no betrayal, no rejection, has the power to break you anymore? If so, stay with me. In this journey, we're going to face some hard truths. It might hurt at first, but this pain, the pain of honesty, the pain of clarity, won't destroy you. It will set you free. Let's begin. Let's be honest for a moment. We've all been taught that the way to stop getting hurt is to avoid pain. From the time we were kids, we learned little tricks to protect ourselves. We people please. We stay quiet when we want to speak up. We smile when we want to cry. We say, it's fine, when deep down, it's anything but fine. And why do we do this? Because we believe if we're good enough, kind enough, smart enough, strong enough, maybe, just maybe, we'll avoid being hurt. We think if I'm perfect, no one will criticize me. If I always say yes, no one will reject me. If I stay strong, no one will see my weakness and use it against me. It feels logical, but here's the painful truth. It doesn't work. No matter how careful you are, no matter how much you give, no matter how much you try to keep everything under control, life will bring pain. People will disappoint you. Words will sting. Things will happen that you never saw coming. And when they do, you're left exhausted, wondering, why did I try so hard if I still ended up hurting? Carl Jung would say, this is because you've been fighting the wrong battle. You've been trying to control the outside world, but the real work is inside. We think pain is something that happens to us. We believe the problem is out there. The harsh words someone said, the betrayal we didn't deserve, the silence from someone we trusted. But Jung's wisdom challenges us to see deeper. He teaches, it's not the event itself that holds power over you. It's what that event touches inside of you. For example, two people might hear the same criticism. One shrugs it off and moves on. The other feels crushed, replaying those words for days. Why? Because the criticism touched something inside, a wound, an insecurity, a belief about not being good enough. This is the brutal but freeing truth. What hurts the most is not what others do, it's what their actions awaken in you. If you've ever been ghosted, betrayed, insulted, you know how sharp that pain can feel. But here's the question Jung would want you to ask. Why does this hit me so hard? What wound is it pressing on? And here's where it gets uncomfortable. Most of us don't want to face that inner wound. We'd rather keep focusing outward, blaming others, trying to fix situations, trying to be more perfect. But as long as you keep doing that, you'll stay stuck. Because the illusion of control is just that, an illusion. Think about how much energy you've spent trying to manage everything. Reading between the lines of every text message, overthinking your words to avoid upsetting people, working overtime to keep everyone happy so you don't feel rejected. And yet, pain still finds its way in. Why? Because the real problem isn't outside you. It's the open wound inside that keeps being triggered. Jung explained it perfectly. We suffer when we try to control what cannot be controlled and avoid what must be faced. The moment you stop trying to protect yourself from every possible pain and instead start understanding why pain hits you the way it does, that's when you begin to step into real freedom. It might sound strange, but here's the key. You don't need more control. You need more awareness. As long as you believe that others have to change, that the world has to behave a certain way for you to be okay, you will always be at the mercy of what happens around you. But the day you realize that nothing outside has real power over you unless it finds something unresolved inside, that's the day you begin to take your power back. You stop being a puppet of circumstances. You stop being trapped in endless cycles of hurt. You start to live from a place of deep inner strength. So let's pause and ask honestly, where are you still trying to control the uncontrollable? Where are you still bending over backward to avoid feeling pain? And what old wound keeps getting triggered over and over again? This isn't about blaming yourself. It's about empowering yourself. Because when you see clearly where your true pain lives, inside, not out, you finally know where to focus your healing. And that is where your transformation begins. Let's dive deeper now, into the part of yourself you can't fully see, but that shapes almost everything you do. Carl Jung called it the unconscious. It sounds mysterious, but it's actually simple. Your unconscious is the part of your mind that holds everything you've experienced but haven't fully faced. It's where your old wounds live. It's where your deepest fears hide. It's where your insecurities, buried memories, and hidden desires quietly wait. And here's the thing, even though you don't see it, your unconscious is always working. It's like a backstage director, quietly pulling the strings, deciding how you feel, how you react, and what patterns you keep repeating. Have you ever snapped at someone and then thought, why did I overreact like that? Have you ever felt a wave of sadness or anger and had no idea where it came from? Have you ever sabotaged something good, like a relationship or a goal, and then regretted it? That's your unconscious at work. Jung famously said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." In other words, if you don't know what's hiding beneath the surface, it keeps running the show. And you'll keep thinking, why does this keep happening to me? Let's be real. It's not random that certain words or situations hit you harder than others. It's not an accident that you keep finding yourself in the same kind of toxic relationship, or falling into the same patterns of self-doubt, or feeling the same fears over and over again. It's your unconscious playing out its old stories, again and again. For example, maybe you grew up feeling like you had to earn love by being perfect. Now, as an adult, any small criticism feels like deep rejection because it triggers that old buried belief, I'm not good enough. Or maybe you were betrayed once and it shattered your trust. Now, even in healthy relationships, you're hyper alert, always waiting for the other shoe to drop. These reactions feel automatic. They feel like they're happening to you. But really, they're being activated from within you. And here's why this matters. As long as you don't know what's inside your unconscious, you stay stuck in those old cycles. You keep reacting the same way. You keep getting hurt in the same places. And it starts to feel like life is just unfair. But Jung's work teaches us something powerful. The unconscious isn't your enemy. It's actually trying to help you heal. The pain you feel, the sudden anger, the sadness, the anxiety, it's not just there to torment you. It's a message, a signal from deep inside, saying, hey, there's something here that needs your attention. There's a wound that wants to be healed. But most of us don't listen. We ignore it. We distract ourselves. We numb out, scrolling, binging, working too much, anything to avoid feeling. And what happens? That pain just keeps showing up over and over in different forms until we finally turn around and face it. Jung described the unconscious as a dark place, not because it's evil, but because it's simply unexplored. And once you bring light into that space, by becoming aware of your triggers, your patterns, your deep beliefs, you start to regain your power. Imagine if, instead of being hijacked by your emotions, you could pause and say, I see what's happening. This old wound is being touched, but I don't have to let it control me anymore. That's the first step toward true freedom. It's not about becoming perfect. It's not about never feeling hurt again. It's about understanding yourself so deeply that your pain loses its grip on you. So here's the big question. What's hiding in your unconscious? What old stories are still running your life without you even realizing it? Where do you keep tripping over the same patterns? Stay with me. This is where it gets real. Let's talk about the armor you've built, the shield you've carried for years, maybe without even realizing it. We all have it. That mask you wear when you say, I don't care, even though inside, you're hurting. That wall you put up when someone gets too close, Because deep down, you're afraid of being hurt again. That coldness you show when someone disappoints you, pretending it doesn't matter, but it does. This is the armor we've been taught to build. The world tells us, don't let them see you weak. Never let anyone know they hurt you. Act like you don't care and you'll never be broken. And at first, it feels like it works. When you act detached, people can't see your wounds. When you pretend to be invincible, no one dares to challenge you. When you shut down your feelings, nothing seems to get through. But over time, that armor starts to suffocate you. Because here's the truth Jung helps us understand. Numbness is not strength. Coldness is not protection. Pretending is not healing. You can tell yourself, I'm fine, all you want. You can cut people off, avoid difficult conversations, bury your feelings deep. But that pain, it doesn't disappear. It just sinks deeper, waiting for the next trigger to bring it roaring back to the surface. Have you ever noticed how people who say, I don't care, often seem the most bitter? Or how those who insist, nothing affects me, sometimes explode over small things? That's the false armor cracking under pressure. Because no matter how tough you act, you're still human. And humans feel. Jung said something profound. Know all the theories, master all the techniques, but when you touch a human soul, be just another human soul. In other words, we don't heal by becoming machines. We heal by becoming whole humans. Messy, emotional, complex, and real. True emotional strength isn't about avoiding pain. It's about understanding it, facing it, and integrating it. Imagine this. You have a deep fear of rejection. So to protect yourself, you keep people at arm's length. You tell yourself you're independent, that you don't need anyone. But deep down, you feel lonely. And anytime someone pulls away, it still hurts, even though you told yourself it wouldn't. Now picture a different kind of strength. You still feel that fear of rejection, but you've explored it. You know where it comes from. You've looked it in the eye. And because of that, when someone pulls away, you feel the sadness, but you don't collapse. You don't spiral into old stories of unworthiness. You stay centered. That's the difference between armor and true strength. Armor is rigid. It cracks under pressure. True strength is flexible. It bends but doesn't break. Jung called this process individuation, the journey of becoming who you really are, beyond your masks and defenses. It's not about becoming perfect or untouchable. It's about becoming whole. When you faced your shadows, your fear, your anger, your shame, you stop being controlled by them. You can hold your emotions without being swept away by them. You can stay soft without being weak. You can stay open without being fragile. And here's the secret. The more you accept your own pain and flaws, the less power others have to hurt you. Because when you've embraced all parts of yourself, even the ones you used to hide, there's nothing left for others to use against you. That's real strength. Not the strength of armor, but the strength of deep inner clarity. So let me ask you, where have you been wearing false armor? Where have you been pretending not to care, when really you do? What pain have you been avoiding as that, thinking it would make you stronger? We're getting closer now. Stay with me. We've talked about pain. We've talked about protection. We've talked about the false armor we build to survive. But now, let's go deeper. Into the real key to becoming unshakable. Carl Jung called it individuation. It's a big word, but its meaning is simple. Individuation is the journey of becoming fully, authentically yourself. Not the version of you that pleases others. Not the version of you that hides behind a mask. Not the version of you shaped by fear, old wounds, or society's expectations. It's the process of peeling back every layer until all that's left is you, the real you. And here's the powerful part. When you become truly yourself, whole, integrated, and conscious, nothing outside of you has the power to break you anymore. Does that mean you stop feeling pain? No, but it does mean that pain no longer defines you. Picture it like this. A storm rolls in. The winds are fierce. The rain pours down. A tree with shallow roots is torn apart. But a tree with deep roots? It bends, it sways, its leaves may scatter, but it stays standing. That's what individuation gives you, deep roots. When you've done the work of facing your unconscious, your fears, your insecurities, your hidden wounds, you stop being at the mercy of every storm. You'll still feel sadness, frustration, disappointment, but beneath it all, there's a quiet strength, a steady core that holds, no matter what. Jung explained that individuation isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming whole. And that means embracing all of yourself, your kindness, your talents, your intelligence. Yes, but also your jealousy, your anger, your fear, your flaws. Because here's the secret Jung taught us. What you refuse to face controls you, but what you bring into the light loses its power. That's why true strength doesn't come from pretending you have it all together. It comes from knowing yourself completely. And let's be honest, this journey isn't easy. When you start to face your truth, without the masks, without the defenses, you might feel alone. Because most people, they aren't ready to go that deep. They're still living on the surface, wearing armor, avoiding their pain. And when you choose to grow, you may naturally distance yourself from those who aren't growing with you. But here's something most people don't tell you. That loneliness, it's not emptiness. It's space. Space where clarity, peace, and real self-respect can take root. This is the paradox. The deeper you go into yourself, the stronger you become. But the fewer people will truly understand you. And that's okay, because what you gain is priceless. When you've faced your shadows, when you've integrated all the messy, complicated parts of who you are, you reach a place where you no longer need constant validation. You no longer panic when life doesn't go your way. You no longer crumble under criticism or rejection. You stay rooted in your truth. And that truth becomes your shield. Jung called this shift moving from reaction to consciousness. Instead of being a puppet pulled by your emotions and old wounds, you become the author of your own story. And here's the deep truth. True immunity, true untouchability, isn't about never feeling pain. It's about no longer being ruled by that pain. You might feel hurt, but it won't shatter you. You might lose something, but you won't lose yourself. You might be betrayed, but you'll know exactly who you are, and no one can take that away. That's the power of individuation. So ask yourself now, are you ready to stop chasing surface-level strength? Are you ready to stop hiding behind your armor and start building real inner resilience? Are you ready to step onto a path that leads not just to survival, but to deep, unshakable freedom? We're almost there. You've made it to the end of this journey, and that alone speaks volumes. It tells me you're not someone who settles for surface-level strength. You're someone who's ready to face the deeper truths, truths that aren't always comfortable, but are always liberating. You're done pretending to be strong. You want to be strong from the inside out. Let's pause and reflect on what we've explored together. We've learned that no matter how hard you try, you can't protect yourself from pain by building walls or wearing a mask. We've seen that the real battle is never just out there. It's inside, in your own unconscious. We've uncovered Jung's wisdom. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will run your life, and you'll keep thinking it's fate. And most importantly, we've discovered that true strength doesn't come from avoiding pain. It comes from facing it, integrating it, and transforming through it. Carl Jung reminded us of something powerful. What you resist persists. What you accept transforms. So now, I want to leave you with a question. Where in your life have you been resisting? Where have you been clinging to the illusion of control, hoping it would keep you safe? And what might happen if, just for today, you shifted your focus from controlling to understanding? This isn't just a video. It's an invitation to stop living on autopilot and start living awake. An invitation to stop being a puppet of your old wounds and start stepping fully into your own power. So if this message resonated, if something inside you is stirring right now, don't let that feeling fade. Take one small but powerful step. Comment below with the words, "I choose awareness." Let's build a community of people who are ready to live from clarity, depth, and true inner strength. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe for more videos like this, where we dive deep into psychology, philosophy, and the hidden patterns that shape your life. Remember, real transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's a practice, a choice you make over and over again. But every time you choose awareness over avoidance, presence over distraction, honesty over self-protection, you take another step toward becoming the kind of person who truly cannot be broken. The kind of person who still feels pain, but is no longer ruled by it. The kind of person whose strength comes not from armor, but from deep, unshakable clarity. That's your path now, and I'm honored to walk it with you. I'll see you in the next video.